Design Communication Arts program at UCLA Extension. I'm here today with Ricardo Crespo, who represents Mattel as a creative director. He's going to be teaching a couple courses with us in the fall. He's a new instructor in our program, and we're going to talk a little bit about his professional background and what he's going to cover in the courses. To start, why don't you talk a little bit about your design background and how you found yourself working in the advertising world?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. I've been fortunate in the sense that I've worked for a couple of large multinational ad agencies, and most recently transitioned over to the brand side of things. So from the ad agency side to what we call the client side. It's been an incredible rush, and all of those different experiences have really allowed me to grow as a creative, and then grow more strategically as a creative. And the marriage of those two is really what's exciting, and what I'm hoping that we'll be able to should transfer into the course, and people will be able to adopt and apply themselves. So terribly exciting.
So what was your training?
I actually went to design school. I'm from Canada, and went to a very what was considered prestigious design school there, and was trained in the traditional print graphic design medium. And entering into the advertising agency network, I started to explore the broadcast medium. So started to do TV spots and a lot of interactive. So become very well-rounded with exposure to all the different mediums. But traditional training is through print graphic design and corporate identity, a lot of background in corporate identity. One of the great experiences I've been able to have, and actually recurs, is when I've been working in the creative side, in that specific discipline, from the ad agency over to the client side. What's been common is the idea that there seems to be this gap, and sometimes there are large gaps, sometimes there are small gaps, and how you bring creativity and how you bring the strategy of that, so there's consistency, and how ultimately that end brand works.
So tell me a day in the life. What do you do at your job exactly?
I work at Mattel, which is a large consumer products goods company, and a lot of people are familiar with Mattel as a toy company, but they're actually more familiar with the brands that we have in our portfolio. As its creative director for our boys brands, the current focus, my role and the team that supports me, our job is to make sure that there's consistency in how we present those brands in multiple facets, and how we advertise, how we create packaging. A day in the life is actually very fun, because with Mattel and the nature of our business, we, in a way, reinvent ourselves twice a year.
So what are some of the teaching techniques that you're going to use in the class?
So some of the things that we're going to be doing for this course that are really going to bring it to life, if you will, that people are going to be able to adapt, are how we're going to explore case studies. And they're not going to be mock case studies. We'll actually take campaigns that are currently in the market and be able to go explore them and go, why do you think this works and why not? And this healthy conversation is what's really going to make it interactive. What I found in doing this method is, when you have this great conversation back and forth, somebody will express one notion about it, somebody will express another. But ultimately, through the course, our goal through this process I call brain mining is to be able to allow us to drill down to the lowest common denominator. And again, it's that light bulb moment that people go, oh, now I see the consistency, and that's how we're going to learn through these case studies. We'll be bringing in some guest speakers, which will be exciting, so that it's not just me sort of talking about theory, but these guest speakers will range from working professionals in the creative side of the business, as well as marketing colleagues that I work with, so that there's going to be a healthy perspective on how the marketing side of the marketing viewpoint looks at a topic, and how the creative viewpoint, and why they're different, and then again that light bulb that goes, how here's the happy marriage between the two.
So what kind of projects can students expect to be doing?
Well, my ultimate goal is to be able to have the students build pieces that they can add to a book, if you will, their portfolio, should they decide to. But those pieces aren't going to be based on theory. So what we'll do is we'll take an example of a live brand, for example, a live campaign, dissect that, reinterpret it, and then be able to take other brands and say, what if this brand wanted to do this with it? What if they wanted to send out this message? So there'll be active brands that are current, contemporary, but they'll be presented in a way that, in a perfect world, should that individual want to go visit that brand at the end of the course, I'm hoping and I'm confident that it'll be compelling, that they'll be able to go, yes, this is how I've been able to interpret your brand, and this is where I think you can go. And the best part is to be able to give it a very strategic rationale, which will give ultimately that individual or the group of individuals the confidence to be able to say, this is how strategy and creativity work to be able to take your brand and and present this common message.
So they'll be working on a pitch.
Oh, basically, yeah. 12 weeks of pitches.
Yeah, they'll be ready to walk
Absolutely,
into a room.
Yeah. Everyone will get a glimpse of what each role within an ad agency might be able to do and what they do, and that's the refreshing part. They'll go, oh, now I understand what a writer's role is, and where an art director's role is, how the two team up, and then how an account executive might be able to mix into that. So the case studies that we bring in will be able to help take that real life stuff, and they'll be able to walk out here and go, well, you're a writer, I now know what you do.
Very real world.
Exactly, yeah, and that's really the premise of it. It's real. It's not a lecture for 12 weeks. People are really going to get a very rewarding experience each week.
Thank you for coming and talking to us today, Ricardo. We are very excited that you're going to be teaching with us in the fall, and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Karen. It's been wonderful to sit here with you and talk about this. I'm very excited about where we're going with this program, and I'm really more excited about the opportunity that I'm going to learn. Because the best, probably the other rewarding thing is that as much as I'll share, I'm sure I'll learn a lot more, because people are going to be talking and be very interactive, and we'll talk about real world cases, so it'll be terribly exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.